Hey howdy everyone, and welcome to Old School RuneScape. You're here with Millennium RPGs. Now you may be wondering, what are we doing in a decade-old game? Well, the economy of Old School RuneScape kind of ebbs and flows. And because of that fluctuation, currency is pretty well always a hot topic. So I figured, why not start a playthrough specializing on said topic? Now, this playthrough is by no means an original concept. There's some changes I'd like to make along the way, but the playthrough has been done before. Which I personally don't feel like is a bad thing. Basically, if you found this playthrough, the odds are you were looking for something similar to it. And if you were looking for something similar to it, then you have an interest in the, say, ebb and flow of the economy. So, due to similar interest, I'm starting a new playthrough on an old concept in more modern times. Now then, explanation out of the way, what is the playthrough? Wait for it. The road to 1 billion. $1 billion gold. Not a small goal. Achievable, but not small. So this playthrough is intended to be relatively large. And from personal experience, I find larger playlists more enjoyable, because I also find myself listening to them more than actually watching them. I'd rather play the game myself and listen to somebody else play in the background. But if you don't fall into that category, there's always a recorded video to go with this voice. So sit back and enjoy. Okay, with all that said and done, let's commence with the playthrough. First things first, we're going to head up to the bank to deposit some of the clutter that's inside of my inventory. Oh, did I say deposit? I meant drop. This is basically just handouts and I want to start from nothing, so even though everybody starts with these items, I'd rather just drop them on the ground. As you're about to see, we're going to go fight rats. Rats that drop nothing, which brings us to the topic. This isn't necessarily a playthrough about min-maxing everything. I'm training here for some low combat experience, but there's no profit to be made here. Other options for combat, if you're more interested in profiting this early on, you go fight the cows for their hide, their beef, or their meat, whatever it's labeled as, and their bones. You can go fight men and women if you're a member. They drop not just their bones, but also herbs. You can fight goblins. I believe they drop chef's hats and some bronze equipment. Back on the topic of being a member, there's a whole slew of other things that you can fight to profit off of. I'll probably touch more on those once I get membership. They won't necessarily be tied only to the Lumbridge area by then, but I'll touch on the other options whenever it comes down to it. Speaking of membership though, I'm clearly not a member. You can see my skills being locked out at the moment. That is going to be a relatively early goal of mine to get a bond. Last I checked, they're roughly 5.3 million. So while this isn't necessarily about maximum efficiency, that is a goal that I'll be striving for. But until then, I will be enjoying non-membership and finding ways to get that money without having to sell wine of Zamorak. While I'm here at these rats, I'm also thinking about other ways I can make some money. What items are cluttering the ground, like the knife in the kitchen, as well as the knife over there by the swamp. I'm also thinking about, say, interactive entities, such as the sheep that I can go shear, and I can spin that wool into balls of wool. Wood cutting, fishing, mining, just in general thinking about what's around Lumbridge that you can make some kind of currency off of. Okay, from here I'm going to leave you with each of the combat levels as I achieve them. I'm sure I'll miss a few, but you'll see the ones that I catch. Apologies for any missed ones. Level, 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 level. Right, so now that we have 5 in each of the melee combat skills, we're actually going to move forward with finding something to profit off of. I'm going to go ahead and check the grand exchange prices on some of these items versus how much you have to buy them for. We'll see if I can't come up with something. I'm going to go ahead and pick up this knife here in the kitchen so that I can sell it back to the general store. And now I'll get myself a pair of shears to go ahead and shear some sheep with. I'm going to go ahead and get myself a few inventories of wool to spin into some balls of wool to get myself some gold to work with. Now, seeing this imp, I want to go ahead and try to fight it before it teleports for a chance of getting a bead. They're worth some pretty good gold, and if nothing else, I can use it for a quest later on. Which looks like I just lost my chance. Double check real quick, but it looks like it's out of the gate. And I can't be bothered to chase it down. That's our inventory. We're going to drop it off at the bank and be back. One inventory done. Time to go for a second. Did I mention not all of these fluff balls are shearable? 2 inventories down. That's a 3rd inventory without having to fight another ram. I've stumbled across another imp. It's going relatively well if it doesn't teleport away. Okay, imp down. We got a tinderbox, no beads, but tinderbox is still worth more than the ball of wool, I believe. 4th inventory, no ram attacks. Squeezy in my last inventory, and we've made another boo-boo. KOing another imp. No beads, but we did get a piece of clay, and that's worth more than a ball of wool, so I'll take it. Alright, I think that's enough wool. Let's start spinning it. Another quick leveling montage. Level. Level. Alright, that's the last of the wool. Let's take our very first trip up the Grand Exchange and sell our new merch. Alright, we've made it. Now let's start working on emptying our bank into the Grand Exchange. Okay, so I was expecting to get in the 60s off these, but we're getting upwards of 80, and that is surprising. They sold for over 80. That is excellent news. Now it's just a matter of getting rid of the rest of this miscellaneous stuff that was left inside the bank. 1 second. What is this? You've got to be kidding me. So this is going to be a problem I have to address later on in the video. For now, you can see that the total level and the quest points is something I can go ahead and take care of. So I'm just going to hop on that. Okay, got some supplies for skilling. Let's get on it. We're back at Lumbridge. We're going to start doing some wood cutting. Not a lot to record here. It's not terribly involved, so I'll be back with you on each of the level ups. Level, 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 level. If you're as low level as I am, be advised that there is a mugger patrolling this part of the woods. Level, level. Spotted another imp. And this time we get clay. So we'll hold on to it. Not that I can sell it right now. Level. You remember those muggers I was talking about? Yeah, they can be tedious. Level, 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 level. Okay, I deserve this one. I walked right toward him. Another mugging. Level, 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 level. I missed the action, but we got our first bead from an imp. Level. Done with wood cutting. We'll go ahead and empty out our inventory and move on to fishing. I'll be fishing for some shrimp and later anchovies over by the swamp. I will be banking my shrimp to cook later as opposed to cooking here. If you would prefer to be more efficient with your time, you could just bring an axe that you can wield and a tinderbox and chop the trees in the swamp and cook your food here. Level, 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 level. Okay, with 20 out of the way, I'll be heading up to the bank to go ahead and cook it up. Now, I could use my logs from the wood cutting earlier, but since there's logs here on the ground at the bank, I'm just going to go ahead and use the clutter to make my campfires to cook up my shrimp. Level, 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 level. You can see that you end up catching a lot more shrimp and anchovies than you actually end up cooking. Just goes to show that cooking experience is way better off than fishing, which also happens to be far slower. Alright, let's go ahead and head over to Varrock, to the Grand Exchange, to sell off some of our supplies. I've gone ahead and collected an egg for the cook's assistant quest that I'll be starting later on. And wouldn't you know it, can't even sell my shrimp. Okay, but I was able to sell both my logs and the bones. Okay, I think it's about time to do some quests. Let's start with the cook's assistant. Cook's assistant complete. I think it's time to go back to my roots and shear some sheep for the sheep shearer quest. Sheep shearer complete. We should get some crafting levels. Excellent. I think it's time to go take care of some estranged love. Let's go take care of the Romeo and Juliet quest. Romeo and Juliet complete. I think we'll go swing by Dorix and then stop by Ernest. Dorix Anvil is ours to use. And I'd forgotten about the free mining levels. Bonus. Ernest is saved. And we should be done with quest points now. I said before that I wasn't being super efficient or min-maxing. Example of that being with the questing. I'm not really doing this so much for the experience, so much as for what the quest can unlock in the future. The most immediate example is I was doing these quests not for the experience. While I got some extra, it was mostly for the 10 quest points I was going to need to remove the trading restrictions on the account. I just wanted to test real quick if we had the restriction on the account still, and we still do. I was hoping that by the time that we had the quest points, and by the time that we had the total level, that we'd be good, and that maybe it would nullify the time that we need to reach, but it doesn't look like it. I'm just going to quickly dump the rest of the junk that was left in the bank, then I'll pick up some pickaxes and start training my mining. Level. You'll find muggers outside here as well, the same as you did outside of the Lumbridge Castle, so be aware. Level. Alright, we got our first clue scroll. We'll have to touch on that later. We definitely don't have any levels required to start on these. Level. Level. Get out of here. Level. As we're finishing up mining, I'd like to briefly touch on my complaints about the trading restriction. Now, you could relatively easily make a valid argument against the gate for questing points, which has been in play for a while, and the gate on your total level. Each of these gates, I'm assuming, plays into bot prevention, which is great, but the third one really doesn't add up for me. 20 hours of in-game time is not necessarily that big of a deal for someone who plays, say, 8 hours a day. For someone who can only afford to play the game for an hour or two a day, it could take them upwards of 2 weeks to get past that 20-hour barrier. On the other hand, for a botting account that's running just about 24/7, you're at most saving 20 hours from that bot being able to do anything with its merchandise. And while I've never used a bot, my understanding is they dump their merchandise at the end of every 24-hour cycle, essentially at the end of every day. So you're preventing them from selling in a 20-hour window of them creating their account, but they'd only be selling 24 hours afterward. So you're not even reaching their gate that they've basically put on themselves. Even if I am lacking information on the botting side of things, the implications that it has to the actual player base seems far more restrictive than the effects it's having on the botting community. Anyways, those are my complaints on it. I'll work around it. It's no big deal. I record for about 8 hours a day, so I'll get there in just a few days. Not that big a deal. Anybody who wants to fill me in on the actual purpose of these gates, feel free to in the comments. I'm more than happy to hear about it. I'm assuming I must be missing something, so feel free to fill me in. Alright, that's mining complete. I'm not going to go any further. We'll go ahead and trade in for some equipment and train some combat. Gear acquired. I'll be going with daggers because nobody else uses them, and I like their attack speed. Alright, get some food, and let's move on. Level. 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 Completed combat training for the day. I don't have enough time to get strength up to 20. Definitely not defense. So I'm going to use these feathers to go kick back and do some fly fishing. Level, 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 level. Alright, at the end of the day, here's the bank account. It's not great, it's not bad either. It's not bad for having not focused on money entirely. After finding out about the trading restriction, I kind of went off and got some other basics of the account taken care of, or at least started. Next time around, we'll go ahead and finish up the combat. We'll also take care of some quests and some other miscellaneous things until we've reached the 20-hour mark. And here's the skills that we're finishing off the day with. Not bad. Again, weren't really focusing specifically on raising our skill levels, but we had to get up to the 100, I believe, total level, so kind of blew past that. And then here's the quest that we did for the day. Not a whole lot of them, but we got our 12 quest points where we only need to get 10, so bonus points there. And that should just about get us settled for the day. A few last minute traditional announcements to get out of the way as well. First and foremost, like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment down below, especially if it's regarding that whole trade restriction thing. Thank you very much. Mostly on topic of the subscription thing, there's also the fact that I'm currently using a $20 mic, so the sooner subscriptions get up, the sooner I can get a better mic. Alright, that's enough gold digging. Now, on to scheduling. As previously stated in the episode, I do record for about 8 hours a day, so I'm looking forward to getting to the point where I can upload every other day, save for Sunday. But as it stands, it's currently taking me about a week to edit. I'm looking forward to getting that down, but I am still learning new softwares as well as the whole editing process. So it would be very much appreciated if you could just bear with me for now. Okay, and that's a wrap. Be safe out there. Toodles.